Okay, so as mentioned a couple of videos ago, I'm going to show you guys how I break down and clean my black powder revolver. You'll notice I'm doing this outside, hopefully for better light, but you will also notice that I am underneath the refuge of a shade tree because it is summertime here in the south, and currently in my region of Texas it is 96 degrees. You factor in 48% humidity and it really feels like 106 out there in the sun. And there's quite a temperature change just in the shade here. It's probably 92 here, and with a slight breeze, it kind of actually makes it comfortable enough to do this video. So we won't get too long into this thing because, again, it is warm out here. I will apologize in advance for any background noise you might hear because, unfortunately, I do not live in the country. I do live in the city around people, so you will hear a combination of nature noises and man-made noises. So I apologize in advance for that. Now let's get to the breakdown and cleaning of this video. So you're back from the range or the field, wherever you were shooting your revolver, and now it is time to break it down and clean it. And of course, always the first rule of any firearm is to make sure that it is empty. Never assume that. And so, of course, with something like this, you just want to go through and rotate the cylinder and make sure all the chambers are empty, which they are. And so step one of breaking this revolver down, you will see this little protrusion right here on the side of the gun. That is called the barrel wedge. That holds the barrel to the arbor, which runs through the center of the chamber. So the way to break down your revolver is to remove the barrel wedge. Now, I've had this one for a little while, and I've removed this a few times, so it's very easy. But when you first get the revolver, it's very stiff, and it will not come out just by grabbing and pulling. So that's why I had the mallet in the background there, and you would just give it a couple of taps with the mallet. That would cause the spring to loosen on the barrel wedge, and then you would just pull the wedge out like so, and then you will notice that spring there. And the next step, of course, is to pull the barrel off, put it in half cock, take the cylinder off, and there are your three main components of your revolver: your frame in action, your cylinder, and your barrel. So now from there we'll take it down even further, and we will start with the barrel, and we will remove the loading lever, which is of course a plunger that packs the bullet or seats the bullet into the chamber of the cylinder. It's got one screw right here. We're going to take that out. And this video right here might run long enough that it may just be me breaking down the revolver and then putting it back together. So there is one screw, and now you can take the loading lever as I drop part of it. Take the loading lever assembly apart, and of course the best way to do all this is just kind of put some of these things back together, put the screws back where they go so you know where they go. Though fortunately the way these things are made, it seems like almost every screw is made for that certain part of the gun. Some of them may be similar, but it is not easy to put a wrong screw in the wrong place. I mean, if you're trying to put a screw in one place and it won't go in all the way or whatever, that is the wrong screw. So there we go. We've got the barrel and the loading lever out, and then so the next step is going to be to take the back strap and grips off of the revolver. So we have this one screw down here at the bottom. Apologize for the rooster. My neighbor's got a few chickens. I know, right, in the city. Okay, and then there's these two screws right here. And we will remove all of these screws, and that will remove the back strap and the grips themselves. Shut up, rooster. It's been daylight for like 10 hours. Well, I don't live in the country, but it sounds like I live on a farm. Apologize for that stupid noise. I really do not like roosters. And we will finish removing this screw He knows I'm videoing, and that's why he's doing that crap. And there goes that screw out, and off comes the, as I drop something else. The reason I'm dropping everything, guys, is because I keep this gun well oiled, so everything's kind of slick. There is the back strap and the grips. And then now you've got the frame in action, and that's what we're down to. So the next step is to loosen the screw on the main spring, or the hammer spring, which is what gives that tension on the hammer. So we will loosen that. We're not going to take it completely off, but we will loosen it because it makes it easier to slide it out of the way from underneath the hammer to get the action apart. That's the next part of taking this revolver down, is breaking down the action. So we have loosened the spring. Now it breaks loose. So now the next step is to remove the trigger guard. There's 3 screws here, and this one is different than these two. Like I said, they make the screws slightly different, so there's not a whole lot of confusion on what screw goes where. But of course, if you will be diligent in putting those screws back into whatever you took them out of as you break things down, there's a little less confusion. I'm a little less proficient with that right now because I'm concentrating on the video, but I will leave these 3 screws in the trigger guard. I will put those 3 screws that I removed from the grip back in there. And then there's just a few more things left to kind of take down, and we are done breaking the revolver down. Then I will get all the materials and everything I need to clean it. So there is the trigger guard out with all the screws still intact. Now we're down to the frame and the little bit of action. As I mentioned, though, I will take these screws and put them back where I got them. That way you don't, like I said, mix up screws or lose them. I said it's almost impossible to put the wrong screw in the wrong place, but it's a waste of time if you put the screw somewhere and then realize that it doesn't go there. So now we are going to start taking apart the action. And the first thing we start with here is the trigger spring. We're going to take that out, and there's just one little screw right here that holds the trigger spring in. Now that screw is out, and we just take our screwdriver and remove the trigger spring. Again, in this case, it's not really possible to put the screw back into it, so we just put the screw with it. So then the next thing that we're going to do is take apart the trigger and the bolt. So we take the bolt out first, and both of them are held in place by a couple of screws here on the side of the frame. This is the screw for the bolt. That is the one that we will take out first. Like I said, these revolvers are actually made pretty easy to work on. It might seem confusing right now just because some of you maybe have never seen this. So there's the bolt screw is out. Now all we've got to do is take our screwdriver and remove the bolt. Sometimes it's a little tricky because it will wedge in behind the trigger. Well, let's go ahead and take the trigger out. That makes everything so easy to get out. And also too, every one of these parts, it fits into another part of the gun. I mean, it's made to only go in one way, so you can't put it in backwards or, anything like that. So there is the trigger and bolt screws out. There, I've got the trigger out. Now the bolt just falls out. There's a piece of cap. I don't know how in the world that got all the way down near the bolt, but there's a piece of percussion cap. So there is our bolt and its screw, and there is the trigger and its screw. Now there's only one last thing left to do. That is to take out the hammer and the hammer hand, which is what actually cycles and rotates the cylinder. So there's just one screw for that, which is right here. And you remove that screw, and then the hammer and the hammer hand will just slide right out. Again, like I said, all of this is made to only go in one way, so you can't put it in backwards. There's the hammer, and there's the hammer hand that cycles the cylinder as you go from chamber to chamber. So there we go, guys. That is the entire revolver broken down into its basic components, and all you're left with is a bare frame. Pretty simple. I watched a video once and then all the way through without my revolver, and then I watched it and did this, and after a couple of tries, I mean, I had it down like it was nothing. So there we go. This video ran a little long, so this is just going to be the whole breaking down process. There you go. I mean, there's not much left that you can take off of this revolver now. That's your basic breakdown. I'm going to go get all the stuff and get ready, and then I'll show you how to clean it and put it all back together. I hope you did enjoy this video, and you'll let me know with a thumbs up and a comment. Subscribe, share, take care of yourselves and each other. Hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. God bless.